Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. So for today's video, I'm going to be talking about my journey to becoming a psych major in undergrad, all the way up to where I am now as a second year master's in counseling student. I've gotten a couple questions about if I did any internships in undergrad or if I assisted in research and things like that. And I've also gotten some other questions about what my timeline looked like for applying to grad school. So hopefully taking you through step by step through my journey to becoming a psych major and a grad student will help you guys out with figuring out what's best for you. I also just want to say these are just my experiences. By no means do you have to go out and do whatever I did. But with all of that being said, let's get started. So starting back in high school, my junior year, I took a course that the first half of it was Intro to Psychology and the second half of it was Intro to Sociology. I actually ended up majoring in psychology and minoring in sociology in undergrad. So I just wanted to throw that in there because that was technically like my first exposure to both subjects. But moving forward, I'm guessing that some people may assume that I wanted to be a psych major right from the get-go. That's actually not true. I started out as a pre-pharmacy major because the University of Arizona has one of the top pharmacy programs in the US. And I wanted to become a pharmacist at the time. So that is where I started. But I eventually decided that pharmacy, while it's a great career, don't get me wrong, it just was not for me, and I didn't feel like it was personally fulfilling to me or would be in the long term. So I decided to switch to psychology. Now moving on to my second year of undergrad. That year I was asked to apply to Psych, which is the International Honor Society of Psychology. I was accepted, and when I attended the first meeting, that's when it really hit me how important extracurricular things are for psychology majors, especially when you are planning to go on to grad school. Up until that point, I hadn't really realized that everyone applying to grad school is going to have good grades. You need to have that additional experience in order to make yourself stand out. So that was when I kind of started looking around and thinking more about what I would like to do. So in the spring semester of that same year of college, I applied for an internship at a local company called Divorce Recovery Incorporated, and I ended up getting accepted for that for the following fall. What I did as an intern there is basically I was a co-facilitator for a support group for children of divorce. In that same fall semester of 2017, so fall of my junior year, I was invited to be what my school calls a preceptor or a learning assistant for the psychology research methods course at my school, which is a required course for all psych majors. So as I've mentioned in previous videos, my school is quite large. The psychology major is the most popular major at my school, with it being a required psych class for all psych majors. There were about 200 to 300 students in there at a time. Of course, the professor can't get to all of them. So what happens is they all sit in groups, and this professor did a lot of interactive activities. So that's where us preceptors came in and would help facilitate discussions and help them out with any questions they might have. And so that was another fun experience and also allowed me to see the teaching side of psychology. Now moving on to the following semester, so spring semester of my junior year. I should also mention that the university I attended is also an R1 institution, so there is research happening everywhere and there are so many opportunities to get involved in research. So during that semester, I saw one that sounded really appealing to me, and I interviewed for that position and got accepted for it. I was a research assistant in a psychology research lab that was researching suicidality in adolescents, and honestly it was an amazing experience. It's probably my favorite thing that I've done, not only in school but just ever. I really enjoyed it, and for that reason I think even if you think that you would hate research or have no interest in it whatsoever, in undergrad, I think it's the perfect chance to just try it for a little bit and see how you like it, because you might surprise yourself. Even if you don't end up liking it and want to stick with more of a clinical focus, there's always so much that can be applied to a clinical focus just based on what you learn in research. And then that summer between my junior year and senior year is when I studied for and took the GRE. I personally studied for it independently. I ordered some books on Amazon and took a practice test online just to see where it was that I needed to spend most of my time studying. And then I took the GRE in August of that year. This is like my #1 GRE tip, and I've told anyone that's asked me about it in the comments on here to do this. So most graduate programs are going to have their applications due in the December to January range. That means the last chance you would have to take the GRE would be somewhere around October, November. However, if you can swing it at all, I would recommend starting studying earlier and taking the GRE in August. This gives you time to take the GRE once more before applications are due, just in case you don't like your first set of scores that you took in August. And it also gives you a chance to kind of get used to the testing environment, and then the next time you go in, you won't be so intimidated or nervous or anything. I got lucky and ended up being okay with my first scores that I got in August. And for me, that was even better because then I was able to put more of my focus into the other parts of the application, like personal statements and getting recommendation letters, and I didn't have to worry about the GRE throughout that time. It was already done in August. So if you're able to do that, I would highly recommend it. And then my final semester of undergrad was fall of 2018. I was able to graduate a semester early because I took summer courses in between both my sophomore and junior years and my junior and senior years. I also took heavier course loads during the semesters, so I graduated in December 2018. And like I said, that's around the time frame that most grad school applications are due. I think all of mine were due somewhere between like December 1st and January 15th. So I was able to focus on that as well after graduating. And then when I got offered interviews, those happened in February. I got offers to programs around March, April timeframe, and I ended up deciding on the Master's in Counseling program here at the University of Arizona, and then I started that program in August of 2019. So you're probably wondering what I did in between that little gap, in addition to taking some much needed time off. I also worked a couple of different jobs, all related to working with kids or mental health care. I was a behavioral health technician for a respite program for kids who were involved in the foster care system. I also did some case managing at a mental health addiction treatment recovery center, and I even did some teaching. I taught reading at a private K-8 school, so I was able to get a wide range of experience both working with kids and adults. But that is my journey to how I ended up here. I hope this helped. Maybe it gave you some ideas about opportunities you can look for if you're interested in this sort of thing. But thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.